go. Some good surfing.
Yeah, do you see the video? Try and get it before it breaks. So you got to be really careful, get it where it's breaking at the right speed, and then kind of like ride down into it so it's not a vert ramp, it's more of like a flat bank.
Oh, Robbie's here.
Yeah, I've been here for ages.
We'll make it work. I managed to find an angle which doesn't make my nose look as big.
Just don't do it like this. That's what you did last time.
You poor guy, though. It looked like he had
It's like,
one of those escape fisheye lenses. It was 80% nose in the middle of the screen, but you didn't pick a flattering angle.
Get it up. What's the first thing that comes up? Schnoz. Oh.
that wasn't a good one. Got Hugo in his matching grey jumper. He's happy to see you guys.
Nice. I'll do my little intro.
I was
Welcome to our bi-weekly catch-up on all the recent goings-on in open water, our local seas, lakes, rivers, tarns and waterfalls. We're the Wild Swimming Brothers, Jack, Calum and Robbie, and this is episode 1, Back to Your Roots. Little jingle, 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 something would happen here.
I like it. Very good.
I love the jingle.
First question, what's your earliest memory of going for a swim?
I think earliest memory, maybe I don't know if it's exactly earliest, but very early is definitely going swimming with Grandma Wild in Achnahead Bay in Scotland, autumn winter time. And I remember going in and I was absolutely freezing, and I felt really proud of myself for staying in for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. I think I must have been 8 or 9, something like quite young. And I remember seeing the waves, thinking they were ginormous, and these huge, like windswept beach and everything. And then, yeah, when I came out, I thought I was a hero. And then I remember looking back into the water, and Grandma Wild was just calmly swimming breaststroke through these gigantic tempestuous waves.
I don't know. I think probably Sissit Bath. Like, do you remember that? The legend.
Yeah.
Like, I vaguely remember Sissit Bath and being quite young there.
How big was it? Was it less
20,
than 20?
25-meter indoor pool. And like, you know,
Mm.
that like eye stinging level of chlorine, like for tropical heat, and like that weird kind of indoor swimming pool smell.
Yeah.
I think I can definitely remember that. I don't know about outdoor swim. Probably Teignmouth, to be honest. I think I can remember. I don't know if it's because there's loads of photos of us on Teignmouth Beach being really young and like digging holes and trying to cover out Great Auntie Mary and with sand going in the sea. Do you remember there was like a big pylon thing that was quite far out?
Mm.
You might remember it from some of the photos and like thinking I could set off. I must have been maybe 2 meters from the edge and then panicking and thinking I was too deep and coming back.
You remember the guy with the harpoon in Spain swimming around the rock,
Yeah.
and somebody was spearfishing, but they came out like James Bond. I remember Snappy Robbie pulling us with the rope around his neck and half drowning in a little Robbie chariot at sea. Corryvreckan was our first big swim together. Can you recall how you felt before you jumped in? It's just settled. We're about to go. Can you remember how you felt or what you were thinking just before you jumped in?
I think I was on the just about to tip over into a panic attack. I think quite close. Because I remember when we were sort of riding out there on the boat, and it was amazing. It was really rough. And I remember a moment when Calum, you and I looked at each other, and I could see this like mad glint in your eye when we just knew we were about to do something crazy. And then yeah, I remember that, and then thinking, oh yes, like this looks amazing. This, the huge waves, the beautiful place, the sky, and all the clouds and everything, and it looked really atmospheric. And then I think maybe 5 seconds before jumping off the back of the boat, I realised that I'd just been training in a 50-meter flat outdoor pool in Berlin, and I wasn't equipped for this at all, and just jumped in, and then yeah, like, because we had to swim to the rock, didn't we? We had to touch the rock, then turn round and then go. And I remember jumping in and like swimming over and barely being able to breathe because I wasn't yet rested. I wasn't ready. I hadn't like calmed myself. I'd done the opposite. I thought I was about to try and PR a squat to like get super psyched up, and that was totally stupid. So my adrenaline was through the roof, and I needed to be really chilled and really calm. And I remember getting to the rock, and it was like, okay, now's okay. I can tell Calum and Jack I just need 30 seconds or something to get my mind in the right place. And just as I opened my mouth, I just heard you, Calum, be like, right, off we go. There we go. And then you dived in, Jack dived in. I was like, right, definitely not gonna get my 30 seconds to chill. And then I just remember swimming, and just after about a minute, I was sure I was gonna die. Just looking up and seeing Mum in the boat, just super chilled. And she was like, come on, this way, just go that way. And then actually in that moment, I was like, actually, yeah, she's totally right. This is fine. It's okay. The Corryvrekkans, I think, has always been one of my favorite swims we've ever done because of that, because it was such like a massive, literally jumping in at the deep end and having to go to that new level, which I really enjoyed.
You're not a dawdler, are you, Callum? You're sort of want to just set off immediately. And maybe you would take a breath with Rob. But you're like, same with ice swimming, you really like get in and go immediately.
Yeah, I realise now looking back on all these swims that I combined a totally cavalier and ruthless disregard for anybody else's ability or experience, and was just like, right, we're going, we're doing it, we're off. I think I just get so excited that I can't control it. Like I'm so it's not like psyched up because I don't feel like aggressive. I just feel really, really excited. Like when we saw, because it would be really rubbish to go to the Corryvreckan and it be flat. Like I've seen some videos of other people doing it, and there's no waves or currents or anything. Like it just looks pretty flat. And so there's when we got there and the guy was like, oh, this is the biggest I've seen in 10 years. The waves were massive. That my excitement is suddenly like, yes, it's all been worth it. We're here. It's not a letdown. Yeah, that was definitely one of the most epic. But I think I do get, it's maybe a defense mechanism against being afraid is to be excited. Like if you can override the fear by being excited, and it's probably adrenaline, then it overcomes it.
Kind of leading on from that. So one of the difficult things is to try and change people's minds about cold water not being, why is it an anathema to some people? They just don't want to get in it. What do you think that there are any common psychological attributes that connect people who want to swim in cold water?
A little rebellious streak, or maybe a little bit of anti-authoritarianism just in general, but not I don't mean that in some big way, like not to live in an anarchist squat in Leipzig, like have a 10-foot mohawk. I just mean it in general, like people who maybe are a little, don't really walk so much with the crowd, people who are not scared to be themselves, because it is a little bit of a different activity.
I think you're a product of your environment, and the harsher, colder climates and countries, unsurprisingly, give rise to more people who enjoy harsher, colder activities. For instance, when I lived in Singapore, I mean, one, there's just no option, but also when you're in 30-degree water, 20 degrees seems cold. So you're suddenly just like entire physiological makeup, your access and exposure and ability to withstand the cold just decreases. So I don't know, if you're in Iceland and you grow up and the water's down to 2 degrees, you'll get weathered in that environment and be able to withstand it. So I think it's a little bit to do with access to it. It's impossible without acclimatization, and all three of us, none of us were starting doing ice kilometers and ice miles. None of us were starting regularly swimming through winter like we did. Swim the Eden, the Norway maelstroms. We weren't all swimming through the winter at that point. It took us quite a long time even when we were really into swimming outdoors, to actually really do it all year.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let us know if you have any topics in the comment section below. If you haven't already, please pledge for copies of Cold Water, new book currently funding on the award-winning Unbound platform.